Hi, Nan Jensen here. This video is for you if you are a person with a disability, and in particular if you've had trouble understanding some of my other videos. Before I get started, I need to do my disclaimer. The information in these videos is information only. It is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, you need to speak to a lawyer. And the lawyer needs to give you a letter of engagement that explains how much it's going to cost for their advice. One option, which is free, is to talk to Auckland Disability Law, and they give advice over the phone. So that's another option for you. Now, this video is about welfare guardianship and property orders. So it could be property manager, property administrator, or something else. And in this situation, this is where somebody is either applying to have one of those roles or already has those roles for you, and you are the subject person. The subject person, that's the words that the court uses to describe the person that the application is about. So in this case, we're talking about you being the subject person. The person who is making the application is called the applicant. That person may be applying for themselves to be appointed, but they may be applying for someone else to be appointed. For example, sometimes social workers make the application, but they might be applying for a family member to be appointed. That's an example. The appointees are the people who are appointed to the roles. So you can have one person appointed to both welfare guardian and property administrator or property manager, or you can have two different people in those roles. And sometimes a company can be appointed as the property manager rather than a person. So let's just talk about what happens. You cannot have someone appointed to be your welfare guardian or property manager without your knowledge. You will be informed. It would normally be by a lawyer. The court will appoint a lawyer for you, and that lawyer will explain the process to you. And you have the right to ask questions, so you need to ask if there's something you don't understand. Very quickly, let's just remember that welfare guardian, that is about your personal care and welfare. So that person, when appointed by the court, has the authority to make decisions for you about personal care and welfare matters. So that means things like deciding where you're going to live and giving consent for you to have medical treatment. The details of what power the person gets, those are in the court order, but those are some examples of the powers a welfare guardian might have. A property manager or property administrator has the power to make decisions about your property. So that could be your money in the bank, or if you own a house or a car, anything that you own, really, they have the power to do that. And that means normally that they can have access to your bank accounts, your KiwiSaver if you have one, and any other property you may have. So it could be a vehicle, your car or motorcycle, or a house if you own a house. Now, they don't get to do whatever they want with those things. Every decision they make must be in your best interests. The other thing is they must always consult you about any decision that they make. Now, sometimes the subject person is very sick and it's impossible for them to be consulted, but the law does say that they must consult you. Now, these orders, you may have heard in my other videos, these orders normally last for 3 years the first time, but on renewal they can be made for up to 5 years. But you don't have to wait for a renewal or really a review. If you're not happy with something, then you have the right to complain about it. You could contact your lawyer. You could contact Auckland Disability Law. And because you are the subject person, the court needs to listen to you. You can also contact the court directly or write them a letter and say what you're unhappy about. And the law allows you to both to try to get the welfare guardian or property person removed, or for the court to review a decision that they made. So if you're unhappy with a particular decision, the court can look at that and see whether that decision was made appropriately. So those are a number of things. It's important for you to know your rights if you have a welfare guardian or a property manager. You still have the right to vote. You still have the right to make decisions. And the law says that anybody appointed in one of those roles for you must encourage you to make your own decisions as much as possible. So they should not just be making decisions without talking to you about them. They should be trying to help you make the decision, and then they can help implement the decision if you need help with that. Or they have the right to make that decision or the power to make that decision if you are unable to do so. For example, if you were so sick that you could not make the decision. I need to admit that I have experienced sometimes people who have these court orders in place and have asked me to query them to apply to the court because they haven't been happy with them. Sometimes it can be quite difficult because once the court has decided that you lack the capacity to make those decisions, they can have a lot of trouble agreeing that you were able to object to decisions made by others. But those are your rights and they need to be upheld. So I would encourage you, if you have concerns, to talk to Auckland Disability Law or even have someone help you write to the court yourself so that your matter can be looked at. Just remember, courts don't try to take away people's rights, and they don't try to put in place decision makers that you won't be happy with. So first of all, make sure that you tell your lawyer any concerns you have as soon as possible before the orders are made. But also remember that if someone has been put in place for you, there may be a very good reason for it, and try to get that explained to you. Thank you for listening. In the next video, I will talk about enduring powers of attorney and the what it means to give away power to an attorney. And in the next one after that, we'll talk about your rights as a beneficiary of a trust. Thanks for listening. See you next time.